Alrighty, what's going on, everybody? It's LeveLUpPastor here. Welcome to the stream today. Ask me anything. I am a pastor, and you can ask me anything. Welcome, Super Ninja Adventure T, and to Arthur, otherwise known as Hyper Dragon, our good friend Hyper Dragon. So I will refer to you, Arthur Wells, as Hyper Dragon because I know it's Hyper Dragon. What is going on? How is everyone doing today? Let's do a quick check-in. Type something green. Put a green emoji. Can we stream in the Discord general? Maybe. What do you want to stream in the Discord general for? Oh, okay. Type something green emoji if you're doing fantastic. A yellow emoji of some kind of thing for, you're maybe so-so, and then red if you're not doing the best today. So let's do a good check-in. Okay. Oh, he's doing yellow if he's doing so-so. I think I'm... Adventure T. Oh, now Adventure T is doing like something orange. I don't know if he knows what we're doing. I'm going to do yellow because I'm so-so. I'm doing pretty good today. Not bad. Not too bad. Yellow for Super Ninja. And here's a green. All right, awesome. Hyper Dragon says, I have a question. How's the Black Ninja comic idea coming along? Well, the idea is there. It's ready to go. Just thought we were playing Follow the Leader. The idea for the Black Ninja comic is there. I guess it comes down to if I'm going to actually put it in writing. Oh, Brent Neal's in the chat, everybody. Green, yellow. Of course, Brent Neal with his analytics, he's going to go beep, beep. It's kind of like you ask somebody to rate something on a scale of 1 to 5, and they go 2.45. Love you for that, Brent. Got my pour over coffee cup here. You, John Deere colors. What kind of brand do you like, Adventure T? You don't like John Deere, but what kind of things do you, what kind of company do you prefer? Do you prefer Cat? Or, I don't know what other, Farmall? I don't even know Farmall. I don't know. If you go to, you hate it. If you go 3, you like it. International Harvester. It's an old country song. Brent Neal couldn't decide. Things are always good and could always be better. Super Ninja says yellow red, actually. I'm sorry to hear that. But hopefully, Super Ninja, we can brighten your day a little bit. We can brighten your day with Ask Me Anything. Yeah. And earlier, Adventure T was commenting on the intro. Ever the critic, Adventure T. Love you for that, brother. But he was saying, why the intros, So, well, one, the intros, a lot of, I say streamers typically do that. That's what I've seen for almost every streamer. They do a starting soon screen on Twitch and on YouTube, especially if you have a scheduled stream and you usually start it, when you're about to start. That's why our Fortnite Friday countdown or starting soon, it happens like 10 minutes beforehand. Minecraft Morning happens 10 minutes beforehand. So this is an interesting question. I've never seen streamers do that unless it's a girl. Well, that's interesting because I've seen every streamer I have looked up. Tim, like, I'm not talking like, I mean, famous streamers, Ninja, Typical Gamer, Cypher PK, Tim the Tapman, anyone else on, another Christian streaming group out there called XP Church. Anyways, let's see. Emerson. Hello, Emerson. How's it going, Emerson? Welcome to the Level Up community here. Glad to have you here today. This is Ask Me Anything, and we got lots of interesting conversation going on in the chat today. International Harvester isn't a game unless you want to play Farming Sim 22. Whoa! Question. Oh, geez. Look at this question from Brent Neal. Oh, man, my chat is getting cut off a little bit. I don't like that. Oh, never mind. No, you just used a Latin word, loci. All right. Question for Brent Neal. Oh, yeah. Could I stream Farming Simulator 22 in the Discord? I suppose. I don't know how Discord streaming works. I haven't looked into it all that much. You could. I think we have a lot of work to do to honestly just revamp. Well, not even revamp because it wasn't really vamped, to just vamp up and boost our Discord server to kind of be more interactive and more active. But that can be kind of like a full-time job in the midst of everything. But time to get off the random foot. Yeah. All right. I don't even know what that means. But Brent Neal had a question, an interesting question. He said, what's better, summer beach read? Luther's Works, Volume 72, Disputations, or Melanchthon's Loci Communis? Probably none of those. None of those. That might be a beach read for you, brother, but it ain't no beach read for me. It ain't no beach read for me. I just hit my microphone with my coffee cup. Speaking of that coffee cup, this is, if you haven't seen this is called the Pour Over. It's a coffee cup that I got from a company called the Pour Over, and they're actually a news organization. And so, I was talking to someone the other day about how the news is always bad. It seems to always be negative. But if you go to the Pour Over and you subscribe to their weekly newsletter, giving you the news, they actually give you the highlights in like their newsletter that comes out by email like 3 times a week or something like that. They'll give you the highlights of the big events going on. And then after they give you the highlights of those big events happening in the world and in our country, they will give you a Bible verse, and they will kind of communicate God's truth in the midst and in light of that situation and how we should approach certain things. So like a lot of times there's stuff going on in politics, and the Pour Over is great about this because they will give a biblical perspective by saying, hey, our citizenship is in heaven. We do not have allegiance to any one group or individual, but rather our ultimate allegiance is to God. So they'll say something like that at the end of, kind of their snippet of summarizing what's been going on in the world and in the news, and it just kind of fills you with hope a little bit more. So it pours into you, right? It's pouring over God's goodness in the midst of what we typically think of with the news being bad and negative. So, all right. So I gotta go back to all these questions here. Do I live in a rock? Because I've never heard of any of those. No, you don't live in a rock. That would be living under a rock. That's what they said about Jesus. Hey, man, where you been? Under a rock. Real question. What is your favorite way to make your coffee? Press, pour over, etc. Well, honestly, Brent, I wish I had the money to just spend on some really fancy coffee stuff, because I love when I go to a place like a restaurant, they have nice coffee equipment. I don't know enough about all the special ways to make coffee, but actually Hyperdragon's one of Hyperdragon's family members made a really awesome coffee. I think it was a pour over, and I do love a pour over. Actually, I don't even know what that completely is, but I went to a coffee shop, like a local coffee shop, like a true local coffee shop the other day, It was so good. And I just love it when I get a good coffee. Most of the time, honestly, I make my coffee through the Keurig, through the K-Cup. That is pretty much how it goes. I do Folgers Colombian, and that's what I have here at work. That's what I have at home, Folgers Colombian, and occasionally Cinnamon Dolce from Starbucks as the K-Cup, and we'll just put that into, or mix it in with half and half, a little bit of half and half. I'm a latte drinker, but I make French press coffee at home and in the office. It's all good. Ooh. So, you know, what I'd really like to do is I'd love to, my dream would be to have like a little coffee and tea bar behind me, just kind of in this back corner of this office. And, you know, that way when somebody comes in for a meeting, I can be like, hey, you want some coffee or tea or whatever? People can come hang out. It'd just be so cool. I just want that kind of environment. I think we're kind of getting there with these chairs. Shout out to my friend Elizabeth for helping me pick this out and the carpet and all that. I wanted it to look pretty good. But yeah, I think it'd be awesome to have like a little fridge with drinks, just be hospitable, things like that. I'm not always the best at hospitality because, frankly, I get a little cheap. I'm like, I don't want to spend money on that. All right. What was the Bible reading game you'll be playing? Oh, yeah. So yesterday we did Unboring Bible Reading. I think there are some more things I would like to do to make Unboring Bible Reading a little more interesting than what it was. I still think it was interesting. We had fun every time. I think that was good. And kind of playing for points is kind of just a fun little way to interact. And doing Discovery Bible Study Method was great. I think you gain a lot out of that. I think that's a great way to get involved with discipleship. Discovery Bible Study Method is great for people young and old. Doesn't really matter what age you are. Those questions can apply for anyone. So I think it's good. I think it's something we should continue. I may just do it like once a month going forward and really invest into the quality of that stream, because I'd really like to do I'd really like to do more like effects, things, kind of shortcuts plugged into my Stream Deck here. Like if somebody answers a question, like just press the button and it pops confetti or music or something, or we do a little dance party or something like that. Just all sorts of different things that kind of come together, and it's like a real true live sort of game show, if you will, that just gets so exciting and different like little segments, like mini games within in the middle of the Bible reading or something like that. Just something to make it even more exciting than it was. I think we got a great start, but I think we're going to continue doing that at least once a month, if not twice a month at some point, or as we go in the future. And yeah. So, but anyways, sorry, I did not even answer your question. Hyper Dragon, it was Mango King TV was a new chatter on Twitch platform for us. And he joined us. He answered questions in a great way. I really loved that. And was very enthusiastic. So shout out to Mango King TV. Thank you for following me on Twitch, Mango. And he chose Fortnite Blitz. That was it. I told him, here's what we normally stream. Here's what we here's what we normally do. And I said, but you can pick any game. And he picked Fortnite Blitz mode. So there we go. Once disgusting, always disgusting. In terms of coffee, I get that. I did not drink coffee regularly until maybe like 8 years ago or so. Good. I'm glad River had fun yesterday at Unboring Bible Reading. He did say he was getting sleepy, though. So I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure how he was doing by the end of it. But anyways, I didn't know I could do folders on all sizes of the Stream Deck. Size isn't really a limit. I did not even realize that. Thank you, Brent Neal, for that tidbit. It's fast-paced and you can get quick XP and wins. Yeah. He was getting sleepy because we were sitting in the airport cell phone lot. Whoa! Picking somebody up from the airport, eh? Was Mrs. Neal gone away? Was Mrs. Neal gone away? All right, your taste palette switches while you grow. That is very true, Hyper Dragon. Super Ninja said we had 186 subscribers. We have 186. Last time he checked, we had 170. Oh, this one's interesting. Oh, sorry. Let me finish my thought. We have 186 subscribers. Last time you checked, we had 170. Actually, we had 187, and we went down one. So we only dropped one. Not bad. Happens all the time, honestly. Unboring was, and Brent Neal says, unboring. Yeah, you're picking up Mrs. Neal from the airport in Georgia visiting family. Unboring was a great thing to have while we were in the truck. Perfect. I had missed the last one. Awesome. Yep. So it is 186 subscribers, by the way, guys. It's an annoying glitch. Oh. Yeah, once you get like 10K, you can't tell you dropped one. Wouldn't that be nice? All right, so Super Ninja had an interesting comment over here. He says, I think it's kind of weird that money says in God we trust, even though anyone can believe what they want in the United States. But I'm not saying it's bad that it says it. Yeah, no, that's an interesting one, you know. It kind of reminds me of the story of, actually, I won't give it away. So let me see if you can guess in the chat. So Super Ninja's question, he's talking about the coin, or our money, dollar bills and coins or whatever, in God we trust. And let me pull out, I think I have, here, a dollar bill would be perfect. Does it say that? $1? Oh, yep, here it is on the back. In God we trust. There it is. In God we trust. Yeah. So it's on the back, $1, in God we trust. Says it on the coin as well. So Super Ninja was saying, yeah, it says in God we trust, but anyone in the U.S. can believe anything they want to believe. So what Bible story, it's in the Gospels, what Bible story with Jesus does that remind you of? Something with money, in God we trust, all that jazz. Think if you can name the Bible story that reminds you of, because that's immediately where my mind went when Super Ninja said that. And in the meantime, while you guys try to figure out that Bible story, Adventure T's like, I don't know. Hyper Dragon said, yeah, YouTube, once you hit 1K subs, it only shows how many thousand subs you have, not hundreds and under. Hey, it's Trill Dan. It's Trill Dan. Super Ninja has no idea. All right, so I'm going to look it up. It's actually a Bible story. Good emote. It's actually a Bible story where Jesus holds up a coin. They asked Jesus, I think it's Matthew 22. Yeah, because we did Matthew 22 in church at St. Timothy this last Sunday, and this is a part of the stuff going on in Matthew 22. Let me see if I can do screen share and select this source here, Bible Gateway. Let's see if we can move that over here. Perfect. All right, so this is in the last week of Jesus' life. So it's interesting. Will Trill ever visit YouTube? Probably not. I need him on Twitch, though, for real. He did at the beginning. Jesus is in the last week of his life. He's going around town teaching. He gives a parable of the wedding banquet. And then they're trying to trap Jesus into into saying something that they could use as a charge to bring up against them to get them arrested, right? They want Jesus to say something that's a little messed up, a little bit wrong, so they can kind of go to their counsel and say, hey, Jesus actually says something that's wrong. This is grounds for us to arrest him. So they want to make sure they do it legal, at least by appearances, to appear legal, the teachers of the law. So the Pharisees went out and laid plans to trap him in his words, and they sent their disciples along with the Herodians. Teacher, they said, we know you're a man of integrity. I will expose my real identity. They said, teacher, we know that you're a man of integrity. They're trying to butter Jesus up. You teach in the way of God. You aren't swayed by others. Tell us then, what is your opinion? Is it right to pay the imperial tax to Caesar or not? But Jesus, knowing they were evil in their intent, are you trying to trap me? Well, obviously. Show me the coin used for paying the tax. They brought him a denarius, and he asked them, whose image is this? And whose inscription? Caesar's, they replied, right? So he holds up to them, or someone gives them a coin, and he's like, hey, whose image is this? They're like, Caesar's image, right? So give back to Caesar what is Caesar's, and give to God what is God's. Yeah, the ads are random. It's that like for diarrhea or something. Oh, Pepto was in one of the ads. Yeah, sorry. That's Bible Gateway for you. Maybe it's trying to tell me something. But yeah, so whose image is on this dollar bill? Is it God's image? No. Whose image is on this dollar bill? George Washington's image, right? So the founder of our country, right? And really, it's not God's image, that's right. It's George Washington's image, right? And so that tells you, is the government ultimately about God, about trusting in God? America, our country, is based on the amendments, right? The Constitution, the Declaration of Independence. Show us the Benjamins. Oh, I don't have any Benjamins. I have an Alexander Hamilton. There you go. Alexander, that's my name. But you got to think about it. What is the primary principle? What is the foundation of being an American? It's individual freedom. It's the freedom to believe what you want to believe. It's the freedom to think what you want to think and to say and speak out what you want to say. You have the freedom of speech. It's a wonderful gift. But is it biblical? That's the question. That's an interesting question. Is it biblical to have freedom of speech? Right? But maybe. But really, when it comes down to it, our country is founded, but you're the pastor. Kidding, everyone. Yeah. Our country is founded on the idea of freedom and individual freedom. Following Jesus is based on the idea of letting Jesus be in charge of your life. In America, in our country, the idea, the principle behind our government is that we, the people, are in charge. Whatever we, the people, decide together, or the majority of the people decide, that is what goes, right? So we have a unique governmental system that is, you guys are so distracted right now, and I'm dropping gold mine of stuff, of truth bombs. Come on, dude. But anyways, your question about in God we trust. Everyone has a God. Everyone has a God. Whatever you look to for your... whatever you look for or look to for your ultimate good, that is your God. So I might look to my money as the thing that is good, that gives me everything I need. I have all the money, or look to myself to provide my needs. Yes, even atheists have a God. Now, they don't believe, they're not going to acknowledge that, and they're not going to believe in the existence of a God, but what is their God? if we define God, yeah, everyone does not have a God. All right. Lesson time, folks. Lesson time. Everyone has a God. And what I mean by that is if we say that our God is whatever we look to provide all that is good for us. Wait, was I supposed to put a lowercase g or a G? It doesn't matter. That's just an English thing. It doesn't matter if you do lowercase g, uppercase G. It's, you know who you're referencing. But anyways, everyone has a God. That's why, what is the first and greatest commandment? What's the first commandment that God gives to Moses, right? You shall have no other gods. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall have no other gods, right? Why does God say to his own people, you shall have no other gods, if there is no other God except for him? Because God knows that ultimately we will make God in our lives. We will make ourselves our own God, or we will make money our God, or we will make happiness our God. Whatever it is that we look to provide our ultimate good or purpose in our life, that is our God. Another way we call that is an idol, right? That's another thing that we call a God, an idol, right? This lesson reminds me of the story of Elijah, right? The prophets of Baal, okay? So we make up our own gods. So I could be obsessed with coffee and say, yeah, coffee is my God, right? But most of the times, oh my gosh, you guys are so, it's like half the chat's like focused in, the other half's like talking about ads. But yeah, like most of the time, people's gods are money. Most of the time, our God is ourself, right? Because we think first and foremost about ourselves. And I would argue that in our country, what is the most important principle? It's individual rights and freedoms. So what that means is that we have a tendency, not only as human beings, but even within our own country, our own governmental system, to trust the most in ourselves rather than actually trust in God, right? Not too much on me now, Pastor. Hey. Stop getting distracted, bro. All right. Yeah, you guys need to settle down. So, you guys are cracking me up today, though, really. So, like, honestly, a lot of times, one of my gods, one of my idols in life is my family, right? We always talk about family. Family is most important, right? And so much so that we often treat our family or our husband or wife or mom or dad or child or friend more important than we do God, right? So then that becomes our God, right? So Chat needs a factory reset. I often idolize work and treat it as my provider. That's right. Work is a very good thing. All the things that God gives to us are blessings and gifts. But everything that is good, that is not God himself, can be turned into our own idol or into our own God, right? Adam and Eve in the beginning, what was their God? Themselves, their own pride. They wanted to be in the place of God, right? Stop and pay attention. Some spiritual Pepto. Oh, man, you guys are going crazy today, man. You guys are going crazy today. Actually, here's an interesting one, right? Can this be a God? This Bible here? In a weird way, it can. I forget what that's called. It might be a little biblicist or bibliology or Bible idolism. I don't know. There's like some special word for it. Bible idolatry. Yeah, anyways, I don't know. But there's an idea that we can even idolize the Bible, biblicism, biblicism, where the word, like the Bible, becomes more important than an actual relationship and connection with Jesus, right? So even the good things, it's kind of like going to church, and the music or the style of music or the building or the people that are there or the preacher or the teacher becomes more important than Jesus himself. More important than God himself, right? Can idolize our traditions, church-wise, be idolatry? Most certainly, Trill Dan. And yeah, Brent had another comment as well. Yeah, the Bible can be. Sometimes I get caught up in studying so much. I love with knowing things, or so much, and you kind of get caught up and fall in love with knowing things, and the knowledge becomes too important compared to the relationship with God. So true. So true, right? That's why God says, our knowledge can be our idol. Reasoning and logic and science and evidence can be our idol, right? Ultimately, those are really good things. They all go together, right? All right, Super Ninja, that's your warning. Please, that's enough. Tone it down a little bit, please, all right? But yeah, now I lost my train of thought. Oh man. But yeah, we can get so caught up in things that are gifts from God that we start worshiping the gifts themselves rather than the gift giver, right? You might have heard that before. So even studying the Bible, if we study the Bible so much that we don't actually do anything in relation with Jesus, we're not really having that relation. It's good to know Jesus. It's good to, the Pharisees fell in love with God's rule and with God's word rather than God himself. And they were not open to receiving what God had offered to them. This is a great gift. But the point of the gift is that it would bring us in close connection with Jesus himself, with God himself, right? Let's see. Oh, man, there was one other one I was going to say, too. Yep, that is true, Super Ninja. There you go. Back on track. Yeah, so even, because if you stay inside and you're studying about God's word all the time, or you're studying theology, that ultimately takes you away from all the other things that God also wants you to do, which is love the Lord your God and love your neighbor as yourself. You can't love your neighbor if you're constantly in your office studying the Bible all the time. Now, I think the problem we have is not that we're studying too much, it's that we're studying too little. I think that's the exception, is that we're studying too much. But it can be a thing. But that's why God says, love the Lord your God with all your heart, meaning all your feelings and emotions, with all your soul, all like the essence of who you are, and with all your mind. And some of the verses that mention that also say with all your strength. So we should use our knowledge. We should use our feelings, our thoughts, our emotion, our logic, our reason, our science, our evidence. Love God with everything that we have available to us. But here's the catch, is that we need to love God, right? Not those things themselves. All right. Trill Dan, who studies theologies these days? Actually, sarcasm. Yeah. Great comment, by the way, because everyone is a theologian. Theology is just talking about God, and everyone talks about God, even if they don't realize they talk about God. Everyone believes something, right? Even if their belief is that there is no God, right? Everyone has a God. Everyone looks to someone or something for their ultimate good, and that often changes a lot of times too. But there you go. So yes, everyone actually studies theology. Some people do it with books. Some people do it through life experience. Some people do it by surfing the internet. Theology sounds like a theorist job, kind of, But most of the time when we think of theology, we think like theology just means the study of God, right? That's what theology means. Theo meaning God, and ology means the study of, right? You have biology. Bio meaning life, and ology means the study of life, and how life comes about and how life works, right? So geometry, yes, this geometrics, the study of geometric shapes and lines and how that all goes together, right? So theology is the study of God, and usually we think of theology as an academic, a school, like an intellectual thing. But the reality is that everyone does theology, because theology is talking about God. It's God talk, and that's what we do all the time, whether we realize it or not. Everyone has a theology. Some of us just go at it intentionally, and others acquire it just by the way we see the world. Yeah. So part of your theology might be that, we should be able to do whatever we want all the time. That's your theology, if that's what you believe. Or sometimes people say, well, you believe your truth, I believe my truth. So that's your theology, that truth is relative or based on the person's perspective, right? You should name a stream, Everyone Has a God. I think lots of people would click that through skepticism, and you think that stream would go well. That's actually a good idea, Venture T. Name a stream, Everyone Has a God. Everyone has a God. Who's your God today? What's God? Which God are we hiding behind door number 1? It's not a bad idea, Adventure T. I'm going to consider that. Yeah, that would get some clicks for sure. Yeah. Maybe I need to make more, maybe in addition to just, I think half the people would click as an atheist. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know if atheists are surfing the YouTube net. America was made for freedom from the British, so you have freedom over what you believe, not like the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. That's very true. Oh, it's our friends. It's our friends. Haven't asked a question in a bit. Okay, that's all good. What movie are you looking forward to the most at this point? Well, I really, for a while, I really wanted to see... Hyper Dragon, you don't need to spell their names correctly. We know who you're talking about. It's all good. I really wanted to see Formula One, F1. I wanted to see F1 so bad for a while, but, time got away from me. I'm also kind of cheap, and I find reasons to spend money on other things, or not spend money, right? But I really, oh man, gosh, there's so many good ones. I really want to see Superman. I think that's going to be great. I really want to see Fantastic Four. So I'd probably say, am I an F1 fan, or did the movie just interest you? I wouldn't say I'm an F1 fan because I don't really follow F1. I, however, am a fan of, I love innovation. I love, just kind of like the sort of movie or story where it talks about defeating the odds, like going against the odds, right? So, and I love like a good racing movie. I love a good sports movie. I love a good, a good sci-fi movie is my ultimate favorite. A good space sci-fi movie is my all-time favorite, probably. But, but F1, I like racing. I enjoy the idea of racing and that kind of thing. But let's see. What was I going to say? I really like the movie Ford v. Ferrari. Ford v. Ferrari is one of the greatest movies I have ever seen, hands down. And one of the reasons I love that movie so much is because it just kind of highlights the growth of like these guys getting together, kind of doing something against all odds, and then you have an individual that was pushing the limits, pushing the boundaries, pushing the envelope, innovating. I love stories about innovators and people who just thought differently, who were able, against all the odds that people thought, they were able to accomplish something incredible. So I love that. And I love the idea of racing. I like racing and sports and competition and stuff like that, though I would much more prefer to be in the race car racing myself, and it costs a lot of money to be able to do stuff like that. So racing will one day evolve into a real Rocket League. Could be. Bad guys and loved it, so I want to watch the sequel that comes out Friday. Yeah, that'll be good. And then I also really wanted to see really wanted to see Karate Kid Legends, or I think it's Karate Kid Legends, where the old Karate Kid, Daniel-san, gets connected with the new Karate Master and Jackie Chan, who then trains a new student. And I think that looks awesome. But apparently that came out May 30th, and I didn't even realize that it was out already. It must not have done that well. So yeah, it has been a great summer for movies. I love a good, like, sometimes I can really get into critically acclaimed films, even if the films are not, typically what you would want. But I love Christopher Nolan and the work that he does. I love Tenet. I would love to see Tenet, see Tenet again. I actually saw something where they are going to, in preparation for Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey coming out in 2026, they are going to be showing in IMAX all of the Chris Nolan films leading up to the release of The Odyssey. So I would love to see The Odyssey. I think that's going to be great. Chris Nolan always does a great job on his movies. So I love a good filmmaker. I love a good, love Interstellar. Love those things. Yeah. Yep. Happy birthday, belated, super. So, yeah. Anyways, great question, Brent. Appreciate that question. Love good movies. I love watching movies, but sometimes I have that problem. Like I did last night, I was like, "Oh, it's 11 o'clock. I should go to bed." Yeah, let's find something to watch, something good to watch. But then I search around, and there's never any. I'm like, no, I don't want to see that. I love watching like a really, really good movie, and usually those are the ones that you gotta rent, or they're not easily found on for free on the platforms that you already have. All right, what about Inception? I think Inception is good. For me, Inception is kind of I've seen it a couple times. I feel like Inception is very much, it's for me, it's kind of been there, done that. Like it's. I've seen it. I'm good. It's kind of that movie. You see it a few times, maybe once, maybe even a few times, and then you're good to go. To me, Interstellar is kind of that one where I could occasionally watch again. I'm not always one to rewatch movies, but I will say Tenet is a good rewatching movie, because that one you can kind of really pay attention and get something different out of it each time. I think that one's good. Haven't seen Interstellar, kind of a big hole in my cinema knowledge. Yeah, you should definitely check out Interstellar. Thoughts on Inception's ending? Yes, I love a good ending that gets you thinking. And I can't remember all of the details of it, but basically it's kind of like you're kind of asking if he's in the real world or if he's in a dream. I think he's in a dream because the top seems to wobble at the end. Oh, no, wait. No, wait, the top wobbling would mean that he'd be in the real world. Yes. Okay, so I think he's in the real world or something. Yeah. I think he's in the real world because the top begins to wobble. But I love an ending like that where you see the ending and then you can like you see the ending and then you can like discuss it and talk about it for years to come, right? I love movies that make you think like that. So, and honestly, sometimes I get more out of movies once I YouTube someone who sort of analyzes it a little bit and the meaning, right? That's like the end of every Mission Impossible. Yeah, so Inception is good. But oh, look, he's alive. Yeah. Inception's good, but I really like Interstellar. You know, it's kind of the question of like, oh, who was the message from? Was it, you know, from that one doctor that he was with and all that? And I thought that was cool. Are you on YouTube Kids? I am not on YouTube Kids, and part of that reason is because when I go and make my YouTube live streams, it asks me, is this made for kids? I answer, no, it's not made for kids, because if I say, yes, it's made for kids, then it takes away the live feature or live chatting feature. So you cannot do live chatting if you say that your video or your stream is made for kids. He plays Fortnite, which has guns. So you can say your stream is for kids. You can do all of that on YouTube Kids, but if you do, then you lose the live chatting feature. So you could say a video's made for kids, and that's easy, you know. But if you do live stream and say it's made for kids, then you don't get live chatting. So, hey, Gunga Din, what's up? What's going on, man? I know kids play Fortnite. I get that. Exactly, some, yeah. So basically, if you do something, you say on YouTube, yes, it's made for kids, you're essentially saying, or you're giving them permission to take away the live chatting and commenting and all that. So, hey, Gunga Din, nothing much, he says, just chilling. Yep. We are at Ask Me Anything, and it's been going well. We've been having a good time today. Got a little out of hand for a moment, and then it got serious for a moment, and then it got like, you know, I don't know, regular for a moment. Who knows? Who knows what it did for a moment? So, there you go. Oh my goodness. This Emerson that commented earlier in my video, actually I know who that is, she has 1.95 thousand subscribers. Jeez Louise. Holy smokes. What the heck? Insane question for you. How's your day going? Oh, man. Oh, my gosh. She joined November 5th, 2024, and she has 1.95K subscribers. Holy poop. Looks like it's makeup videos. So shout out to Emerson, man. My old YouTube channel just got deleted. We had 251 subscribers. Hopefully we can get back to that or more. We love y'all. My goal is 2K. Well, Emerson, you are not far off from your goal of 2K. Holy smokes, I am impressed. I got to be honest with you. I'm impressed. Way to go. Looks like it's makeup videos. And yeah, way to go. Way to go, Emerson. Shout out. All right. Cool beans. All right. Well, anyways, let me answer Gunga's question here. An insane question. You're right. It is an insane question, Gunga Din. How is my day going? Well, so far my day is going pretty good. I didn't wake up as early as I was supposed to, though I did not set an alarm either. So that was my fault there. So I had to reschedule something for tomorrow, and that's okay. It'll be all right. But it wasn't the best start. Took me a little while to get going. I feel like I've been a little more tired than I usually am lately. Part of that might be... Oh, there's a yawn. Oh, there it goes. Part of that might be because, there's been a couple nights where I've stayed up a little too late. And for my son's birthday, you all know who that is. My son turned 9, and that was fun. And with his Nintendo money, he decided to buy Nintendo Sports. And guess who got addicted to Nintendo Sports? Guess who got addicted to Nintendo Sports? This guy that you're looking at on screen right now. So I've been trying to beat the powerhouse computers in Nintendo Sports and playing online and stuff and unlocking stuff, and got addicted. So it's always good to kind of go through that phase, though. It's kind of it's a weird phase of being like hooked on a game, but it's just exciting. And then you kind of get out of it eventually. And but yeah, so I probably stayed up a little bit too late a few nights ago, and then last night went to bed. Went to bed. That's true, Super Ninja. Went to bed maybe at like 12:30 last night. So not the best, but I woke up at like 8:45. So you would think that's good, but whatever. Yeah. So meeting today, lunch today. Oh, here we go. Here we go again, yawning. Sometimes I just can't get the momentum going because it's like, okay, I got back at 1. I have something at 2. By the time I sit down, I take care of a couple things. It's 1:30. Okay, what can I do now in between 1:30 and the time my stream starts? So that's just the way it goes sometimes. Yes, it is fun at least, and it is fun. The coffee is starting to make sense. I get that. Yeah. We are nearing the hour mark in a few minutes. We could keep going if you want to, or not. It doesn't matter. I usually go an hour. All right. I was curious about Brent Neal's comment. I think I missed the comment earlier about coffee in the office. Ooh, yes. Here it is. It's way back here. Way back here. Tack 30 more minutes for the plot. All right. Where was that comment on the office coffee bar? Pardon me while I try to find... Oh, I guess I can't go back to all the way in the chat on my special multi-stream chat. But anyways, Brent Neal said earlier, if you get the coffee bar in office, you could do a live roundtable sort of thing for unboring Bible readings, like a podcast with some of your streamer guests you've had. I could. That would be awesome. Let me sit up here for a moment. Yeah, that would be fun. I think that would be good to do some special guest on these shows. Beans, what's up? What do you guys think? I don't want to take away from our time playing online together, but I also want to bring on special guests and things like that. But 12-hour Ask Me Anything marathon. That would be nuts, dude. That would be nuts. That'd be crazy. 12 hours of doing like questions and stuff. Holy moly. Yeah, I don't know. You can walk on water in Minecraft? I did not know that. Unboring isn't taking time from playing. It has its own slot, which is why I thought maybe for that format. No, that's true. I was kind of talking more of like my Fortnite Friday. I've sometimes thought about like, okay, this Fortnite Friday is mainly for me to do special challenges with a special guest on the show, just me and them, duos or something like that. And then there's another time, a separate time streaming where we as a community go online and play together. So kind of scheduling the live stream time as like the show time, separate from live streaming our time just playing and having fun together. So that's what I was more talking about rather than the Bible reading one. Frostwalker enchantment. Interesting. Frostwalker skimming the water in creative. Oh, okay. I don't know. All right. Well, any other questions before we go today? That is almost an hour, so I'm going to get going. Got to get back home to the fam today. Check on my grass, see how it's growing, because I may have let it go dry way too long. There's a million things you can do. Do what you like to do. Fair enough. And the community that likes watching will show up. So don't get caught up in catering the community that's already here. Amen, brother. Amen. On that note, any other questions? Any last minute questions before we go? Now's your chance. I am a pastor. Let that not deter you. Maybe let that encourage you and ask me anything. Are you planning on streaming other streaming platforms, if there's any other? Well, check up today. Arthur Wells. So basically, there are two platforms that are the main platforms, Twitch and YouTube. I just moved up. Streaming other streaming streams. But there's Kick. There's there's TikTok. And there's Instagram Live and things like that. There's Discord, I guess you could do. What about Reddit? Oh my gosh. So the hard part, the main thing is I don't want to get too many different things going on out there. I want to actually try to narrow in my focus a little bit. Wait, there's an Instagram Live. There is an Instagram Live. I haven't used it yet. Or TikTok. Sometimes you can stream on that. But those are really things I want to take care of. The main thing, just making Level Up the best that it can be before I would go and do different stuff. But yeah, think about linking your streams to shorts. Okay, Instagram is for old people. Instagram is for everyone. If you're doing yard work for $5, we need to talk. It was a portion of the yard work, might I add. But anyways, yes, Hyper Dragon, that is a very good point. Linking my streams to shorts would be good. I know Adventure T has been hounding me on that, getting vertical. I would have to add vertical canvas to the multi-stream thing that I have, which is probably not that hard to do. It's just a little extra work and kind of looking into that. And there are things that I feel are a little more important than doing... there are things I feel are a little bit more important to Level Up and its growth right now than just like linking streams to shorts. But that could be honestly an easy way to just kind of get a few more views, few more subscribers, get discovered a little bit more without like actively doing certain things. Yep. Nope, just change the auto aspect ratio and the rest is auto. Okay, interesting. I'm going to get moved down to $1. All right. There we go. We digress. All right. So Adventure T, Hyper Dragon, we're going to talk and figure out that vertical streaming stuff. Yeah, the worst way to grow is to focus on growing. Yeah, fair enough, man. Fair enough. I just really want to, part of my thing for a while is I just really wanted to be communicating with parents of kids, youth groups in the area, things like that, so that many people know what we are all about and know that we're here. That's all it is. So fantastic. All right, cool. All right, I'll look into it. So we will see you on the next one. Be sure to hit that notification bell if you haven't already, and just tell your friends. Tell someone you know about what's going on. If you want a lot of views, live stream Roblox Grow a Garden. Yeah, maybe eventually. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. So we will see you tomorrow. We are doing Minecraft at 11 a.m. And shout out to STW Simply for hosting Minecraft Morning this last Saturday. Really appreciate you, STW. Shout out to you, my friend. And we got 2 new subscribers since you did that. So thank you so much. You did a great job. I do want to jump into our realm and kind of do some things to help kind of build up our system in the realm. And then, of course, I haven't even gotten to make a mine yet, I think, in our realm. So we're going to do that and just chill out and have fun tomorrow at 11 a.m. Minecraft. Last one of Minecraft before the end of the month. And be on the lookout for our schedule for the month of August. I know everyone's starting up school. School's getting started in August, so it's going to be a different schedule, and it's going to look a little bit different. We've had a lot of fun trying new things, having fun in the summer. It's been great. Thank you so much for all of you that tune in and chat it up with us every single time, and really appreciate all of you. So... You guys are going wild in the chat today. It's cool. That's all right. I understand. But we will see you on the next one as we level up in our gaming, our faith, and in our life. We'll see you next time. Peace out.